Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here. Thank you so much for spending the time with us as we are seeking together. There are so many wonderful light workers, practitioners, energy practices, messengers in the world. And I love this time with the people that join me here at Together We Seek podcast because I love really understanding their journey, their crossroads, and the gifts that they are sharing with others to illuminate their path. And I'm so excited to have Mary with me today. We are going to dive into Akashic Records. And the thing I love about Mary is she has been in the business world for years. In fact, she's won 3 Emmy Awards. And I just feel like she has lived on both sides of the camera in regards to how people perceive life. So, Mary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is fun. Yes.
I love that we connected, and I'm just really excited for you to share what are the Akashic records and how did they make their way into your path?
Yes. Okay. So, Akashic records are a divine realm, a quantum divine realm that contains, we can call it the spiritual imprint, the imprint of every soul's journey, lifetime after lifetime. What does that mean? It means that there is this field, it's now measurable by quantum physics, a field that exists, permeable maybe, through which imprints happen. So any soul's experiences, thoughts, experiences, lifetime after lifetime becomes imprinted into this field. And when we are able to raise our vibrations to a higher vibratory state where the divine, we'll call divine source creator exists, which is where the Akashic records lie, we can then hear and access our own imprint, which means we then we are triggered to remember why we chose to be here, what our soul's journey is.
I love that because I'm really on a mission of helping people remember why they're here, that it's so much more than what we're seeing happening on TV, that we actually have gifts that we are here to share. And a lot of us have forgotten what those gifts are. So the Akashic Records is essentially a library of your soul's journey.
Yeah, we could call it a library. I mean, our language is limiting when we're talking about quantum. But yeah, it's a library of sorts. It's where everything exists since the beginning of time. And it's been referenced throughout history under different names. In the Bible, it's known as the Book of Life. In the every tradition has it. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, part of Buddhism, I believe, the Quran's got a version. So if we look through history, there has always been this knowing, I'll say, maybe not so much a belief, but a knowing that there is this field, this realm that is recording everything that we do, say, do, and think. But the important thing here is that it is not I like to say, it's not the bearded man in the clouds. It's not something outside of ourselves. It is the mirror of ourselves. And we have free choice. So our souls freely choose on each incarnation to come onto the planet at specific times. And we choose sort of a theme, a reason for coming, not specific, not, I'm coming into a creepy family, or, we don't get, it's not that specific, but we might choose to incarnate for an expression of self-love or to spread compassion. They're bigger kind of themes that we choose as a soul. And then how we manifest that soul, that journey is free. We have choice. We can do it any way we want and however we want. So it's a very free thing that we're talking about. It's not anybody telling us what to do. It's just there, but it's really neat because it's a resource of ourselves. And then we start to remember things on a very deep level when we visit our Akashic records, which then empowers us and brings us into a a stronger alignment to carry forward through our actions and our experiences what our soul's chosen journey is.
My heart chakra is like da 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 da. How exciting! So we all have an Akashic record. Our Akashic record is filled with details and information based on our soul's journey. And you have the ability to access that for people?
Everyone has that ability. And yes, for me, yes, the way it works for me is I uh, get myself to a place through a sacred prayer where I like to say I'm shifting from ordinary consciousness to a higher vibrational divine consciousness. And when I raise my vibration, seamlessly, by the way, it's knowing and intending that really does it. But when my consciousness becomes in alignment with divine consciousness, I just hear. And I hear blocks of thought that are not mine. When I'm working with clients or in my own records, I just hear thoughts, and they're profound and powerful and beautiful. And they're, I like to say the records don't tell us what we don't already know on some level. So it's not like a divining rod telling us anything. It's showing us who we are and reminding us who we are. And so it ignites something when we're visiting and we're in that realm. Anybody can access their Akashic records. Mm-hmm.
Well, as many of you who listen often, I work with many of the practitioners I interview, and Mary and I did a session together. And I have to say, they were profound. It was something that was familiar to me, but it's not, but your delivery for me was very pointed. So I felt like I got a really direct message about the work that I'm doing now, about where I'm going, how instrumental like some of the work I'm doing with practitioners are for the bigger collective. And I would say that I felt a sense of being seen. I felt a sense of being understood, and I felt a sense of peace.
Well, that is because we were accessing the mirror of you. We could call it your higher self, the higher dimensional you. So that is why all of those things happen. And it feeling pointed and directed would be my suggestion about it happening for you that way. It was because that is what you are needing, and that is how you operate potentially. So the records meet us always. Divine meets us where we are always. And that's what happened. That's why everyone has a different experience when they're in their Akashic records, yet they have the same outcomes, meaning they feel better, they feel more expanded, they kind of are excited about what they're going to do next. Everybody has those experiences, clarity, right? Which you had. How it's delivered to us is going to mirror exactly where we are in our lives, and because it is who we are already. It's very
Wow.
cool.
It's very cool and very beautiful on so many levels. Like
Mm-hmm.
it makes you feel like you're not alone, that means something more than what you're experiencing on a day-to-day, hour-by-hour basis.
Yes.
So we talked a lot about your career, that you worked on General Hospital and other TV programs. And, not everyone who does this just like steps into their Akashic records. So how did the Akashic records find you? What crossroads were you going through? What was happening that came forward for you?
I think my experience so far is that anyone who goes to their Akashic records, they're drawn to their records. It's just, and that had to be what it was for me. When it's happening, we're not quite sure. So for me, I was always overlapping my years in television. I was a director, and I remembered while I was directing, going to Abraham Hicks workshops and following Louise Hay. I had her books, and all of those. Deepak Chopra was coming up. Oprah was beginning to open up to Eckhart Tolle. I was the one going to all of those and getting those books, and I was still working in television, which are two different worlds. And so I think when in retrospect, my higher self already knew that I'd be moving into this other arena, and that eventually the two would come together again, which is kind of what's happening now for me because I'm writing fiction. So they were overlapping, but then this is interesting, and I think this may have value for listeners. I wasn't paying attention to the nudges I was getting, because who doesn't want to keep working in television, soap operas, Emmy Awards, it's a great salary. And I now know, I think it was my ego. Eckhart talks about the ego conscious, was key, oh no, I'm going to stay over here, but I'll keep going to these workshops, whatever. But whenever I did go and read those books and follow those people, felt like I was at home. And I was feeling more at home over there than I was in the studios. And because also the mentality and the culture of those studios it can be really rough. It's very third dimensional. So I didn't pay attention. And then what happened was an event happened while I was on General Hospital. I was a contract director, and they decided not to renew my contract. Well, it was the woman in charge. And so I was like, what? It never happened. I've been working almost 25 years on 7 soap operas. And it's like there was no clear reason. It was very odd. And I went around to all the actors and I asked them, if there's anything that I missed, how can I be a better director? Every one of them, including like Tony Geary, the top guy on General Hospital, who's now on the other side, Tony. They said to me, are you joking? What do you mean you're leaving? And I go, I'm leaving. She's not renewing my contract. And they were like, that's crazy. You're one of the best directors we ever had. And I just said, okay, that's all I need to hear. So see, something else was happening. I think I was getting this push. We're always going to be, my experience, we're going to always be nudged to why we're here in some way. And I think I was getting the nudge and I was going, well, not consciously. And so finally I get booted out of General Hospital, I'll say. And I'm going, what the world, the floor fell out from under me. My whole life changed. And then I'm like wandering around going, what? And then I had a psychic reading. And then the psychic saw something, being over my shoulder. And the being said, I'm guarding your Akashic records. And I went, what's that? And then when I looked them up, it wasn't, like I didn't get hit over the head with them. It was like, wait a minute, I feel like I know this, but I didn't jump still. I didn't listen. So then I was in a metaphysical bookstore out in LA, and there was a book sticking off the shelf above me. It caught my attention. I was in a back room by myself, and I looked up and I pulled it down, and the book was called How to Read Your Akashic Records. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I surrendered. And that's what I think our invitation is always for all of us, to surrender to what we know feels right to us, what we're being nudged into, like what we know. Because when I started then reading the book and opening my own records, it was a knowing, and I was hearing seamlessly in a way that I even doubted in the beginning, because I thought, who, me? I'm hearing this? And I kept up with it because the messages were so profound. And when I would share them, my colleagues and friends would say, you're tapping into something here. You don't even speak this way. So that's how it began. It was this coming home in a way, right? On some level. And when I say coming home, because when I was very, very little, I remembered being in church. I was born into a Catholic family that I'm not in now, but I loved church. And I remembered feeling the essence of something loving me. I couldn't put a finger on it. I mean, we called it God growing up. And so when I first opened the records for myself, I had that same familiarity. I felt this loving essence loving me and calling me to help others love themselves. And that brings me to right now.
So beautiful. I talk about this in Seeking, my third book. I talk about the glimpses you see as a child. Like, you have glimpses of your life's work. You might not quite understand it, and it doesn't make sense till later. And then throughout your life, you get the whispers.
I love that. And we do get that when we're children, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We really do get little, and again, when we're kids, we don't know what it is, but we're drawn to things, and they're really easy, and we're quick about it, and we're like, boom, we're there. And then we don't know why. And then life goes on, whatever. And then we get these, like you said, whispers. That is what it's like. It's like a whisper. And it's like saying, remember me?
Yes, that's what I got. I've gotten whispers many times. It has taken me years sometimes to lean into the whisper. And the fact that you saw the book on the top shelf, it just so happened to be the book.
Yes.
that was your next step was popped out. I mean, that's just like, I have to laugh because some of the coincidences that happened to me are downright comical. Like if anybody really knew my journey and then would be standing, I feel like I'm on the Truman Show sometimes. Like, okay, I get it, guys. I get it. So I laugh a lot because I'm just always still so surprised on a daily basis when I get the call or I, stumble over that flyer, I get that random request that ends up being like a thread to something else. And
Yep.
I know it's perfectly orchestrated, but it still is fascinating to me.
And yeah, there's nothing random. No such thing as random. We need to take that word out of the dictionary. That would be a good thing to do. Orchestrated or part of the design of who we are. Well, because sometimes orchestrated can sound, I agree, it is. I mean, it is kind of orchestrated, but sometimes the word orchestrated can sound like there's a conductor that's leading you to where you need to go. In today's world, it can be interpreted that way when we're trying to get away from that, because we got a lot of people that are claiming to be leaders and out for watching our backs, and they're not. There's a
Oh,
lot of,
clearly.
yeah,
Yes,
clearly.
clearly. I mean, there is clearly a matrix that is here for us to continue to forget and not remember why we're here. And it is
Yes.
fascinating how loud it has gotten all of a sudden. I feel like when all these like groundswell of healers, mystics, messengers are starting to emerge in a really big way.
You know what else is happening? All of those healers, messengers, and mystics are now joining hands because we were all operating kind of individually even 10 years ago, doing our thing, which was all wonderful, right? Now there's a call, and I hear this from Divine Realm itself that says it's time for you all to grab each other's hands and navigate around. Don't go through, don't resist, don't fight, go around, create the new earth. It's being created anyway, but together, because we all have different assets and talents. And when we combine them all in the name of light, in the name of love, and the all that isness, oh my God, that's our new earth. So all we have to do is join hands. And that's what we're doing here when you're doing the work that you're doing, and the books that you're writing. And when you're speaking, it's an example of that, because how many times, I bet, not to turn the interview around on you, but how many times do you have people who have been in the audience or read your books and they're reaching out to you because they are also one of us and they're reaching out and they want to join hands?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing how people will come up to the stage and be like, "I'm a Reiki master. I see dead people. I wanna talk to you about what's happening to me. I don't understand it." And, I mean, it'll be a sea of hundreds of people, but they migrate to the stage,
Yeah, I saw
and
that. I already saw that, right.
yeah, and
That's evidence of many things. It's evidence of the fact that you're doing what you're, at least this part of your life, you're doing part of your soul's journey. You're carrying that out of your role here. That's one thing it's showing. It's also showing that there are more people who are getting triggered to remember who they are through you and others, right? And so when they are triggered, what do they do with that? If it's new to them, it's not new, it's old, but they feel like it's new. Well, that's where if we've all joined hands, a lot of us already on this path, then we can hand off those people to each other and to other practitioners or whatever. I mean, that's what we're doing. That's what I do. If somebody needs something, I'll go, I have a colleague or a friend who does this, or go get this book. I'm always leading people to resources. It's not always come to me in the Akashic records. Like, that's not how life works, does it? But
yeah,
it's very powerful time right now because we are joining hands.
it's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's so exciting, and I feel like, sometimes you might not realize why you're creating things. Like I've created things that I thought were
Mm-hmm.
gonna be one thing, and then 2 years later, it became very clear of why I created it. And I didn't I try to listen to the whispers, but sometimes you can't always make out exactly what you need to do, so you start down the path, and it's amazing. It's like things start to shift around you. And then all of a sudden, it could be 24 months later, you have clear clarity
Yes.
on what it's supposed to be. And I feel like for me, I always tell people just lean into it. Just start doing it, even if you don't have it figured out, because it's likely
Yes.
not what you anticipated anyways. Did you feel
That's
that?
surrender. Yeah, I do feel that. And that is just, and that's what it's like writing a book, right? In the beginning, because I, was really good in school growing up, and I got everything right. I was one of those, like, get it right so no one can do anything to you. And it's like, then now we're on our own, and I'm like, but I need to know what's the purpose of it, what's the end of it, and whatever. And I'm getting hit over the head a little bit, like, Mary, you don't have to know. It's the journey. Just go from moment to moment and listen, and it will reveal itself to you. It's what you're talking about. This is so true. And maybe this is uh, an example of the power of now that Eckhart Tolle talks about. If we can just be in the now and trust the now and surrender to the now and listen to those nudges, right? And take action on the nudges without knowing the answer and the ending. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so much so. And I feel like they program us to figure it all out before we start because they don't want us to start. So, if
Yes.
anyone's listening right now and you have something on your heart, but you're like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? I think I would encourage you, and probably Mary too, is like, just start doing it. Don't worry about the how.
Well, that's right. Because when you say yes to something, especially when it's something that, well, here's the thing. It's not some idea that came from someone else and they said, oh, you should go do that. Unless somebody says that to you and you resonate, like your whole body resonates, then yes. But when we get that first nudge, to not listen to anything else, just swim in the nudge, like whatever it is, whether you wake up with an idea, a dream, whatever it is, a vision, pay attention to it. And privately, I like to say private because it begins as a very personal journey, doesn't it? Like, you get something and you're like, huh. And then when you get that, huh, and it all of a sudden time goes by and you're still thinking about that, huh, write it down, right? Meditate about it. Ask any of those on the other side that you have loved that are on the other side now. They're there for us. Help me. What is this? Is this something I need to do? Pay attention to? And then you have to surrender. There's a surrender to this. It's just like you're not letting go of dreams or anything. You just open your hands and you go, okay. And then what does Abraham Hicks say? They say, go pet your cat. Just go do something else, right? Silly, go wash your car and watch what happens. It's like so amazing.
It is amazing. And last week we were talking on the same podcast about giving the universe some to-dos. So you do your to-dos and then you say, hey, universe, I need some help figuring out, like, what's the next step with this? Or does someone need to call me or give me information? And giving the universe some to-dos, and then just keeping busy doing whatever and just waiting for some of those messages to come through.
And what's important in that you just mentioned is you have to really know that the universe will do it. Because not everyone really knows it. They think it or they've read it and they go, oh, yeah. I did that. I asked the universe. But then they're still trying to figure out how to get from A to B. When you just ask the universe, can you just get me to B? Right. And then you got to forget about it and figure out C to D on your own. But let the universe give it to you. That means surrendering and knowing that it will happen. Because that's 100% true, isn't it? When we ask the universe, it already exists for us, or we wouldn't have thought of it to begin with. That's another thing to talk about, right?
So beautiful. I could talk to you forever, Mary, but I just want to ask for closing up. I know you're working on your second book, which is be out here soon, but the Akashic Way, if people are curious about their Akashic records, they could reach out to you. All your information's below. Schedule a reading, schedule time together. What will they learn from your book, The Akashic Way?
Well, they're gonna see pieces of themselves in it, because it's my personal journey working through my human garbagey stuff like that we all go through, and I would bring it to the records, and that my journey is in there, as well as the records downloading from Divine Realm, similar to what Edgar Casey was doing.
Yes.
I would be asking about one little topic about me losing weight or something, and all of a sudden the records would start like imparting this profound message for humanity. So you can turn the book to any page, and it's the power of divine. You will receive something that you are already seeking. It's a weird promise, but I still do it and it still happens. I will go to my book and go, "Broop," and I go, "Oh," and I forget that what they said, and it's exactly what I need at that moment. That is a testament to the power of divinity, divine source, creator. That is a testament to that.
This is so exciting. I am like vibrating at such a higher level just talking with you, and the
Me
excitement
too.
you share about the work you're doing and the collective and how ready we are for these messages and these connections to our whispers and even our higher self is so exciting.
It is exciting. It's very exciting. And, a lot of, when I'm interviewed by people like you, I get that question at the end, like, what do you want to tell people? And the message is always the same. What Divine says is, you're all okay. Everything really is okay. Because we're being shown anything but that, aren't we?
Yes.
We really are okay. And we're way more powerful than we've been told we are.
I just love that. We are way more powerful than we are told we are. And
Yes.
I feel like we have information, wisdom, insight through the people we surround ourselves with, the books we read, the podcasts we listen to, and the information we allow to flow through us.
Absolutely. That's how it works. That's the true machinery of humanity is that. Not everything else is either illusion or a lie.
Hmm. Well, I'm so honored you joined me here. I look forward to staying connected. I
We
hope we do
will.
something in person. I'm just so honored to have you here with me today and part of the Together We Seek community.
Me too. I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
Thank you so much, Mary. And thank you, everyone who's joined us. If you'd like to reach out to Mary, all of her contact information is below, including her book, The Akashic Way. And stay tuned for her new book, going to be out here soon. And I look forward to seeing you again here next time. Thank you, everyone, for joining.